Oh, well, Anna Wintour has just banned Meghan Markle and Prince Harry from the Met Gala. So if you're Meghan Markle, what do you do at that moment? First, you set up some paparazzi pictures in Montecito. We're not even going to go there, folks. Then you post a video on Instagram, specifically responding to the fact that we all know Meghan cares more and promotes more her daughter rather than her son.
Every year, on the first Monday of May, something wild goes down on the steps of the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. The biggest names in fashion, entertainment, and culture pull up like royalty, turning the night into way more than just a party. It feels like a full-on power move, a moment that decides who's really running things right now. Who gets invited and who gets left out says more than any speech, deal, or press release ever could. And this year, that question hit hard. The answer didn't just raise eyebrows, it shook royal watchers, stirred up Hollywood circles, and confirmed what insiders have been quietly saying for months.
The invitations for the May the 4th Met Gala have gone out, and Prince Harry and Meghan Markle didn't make the cut. The snub stings particularly hard for the Duchess, who actually had a shot at attending this year's costume art-themed event, given that two of the co-chairs, Beyoncé and Venus Williams, have loose connections to her social circle.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, won't be there in 2026. The couple who stepped away from the royal family, moved to California, and told the world they were building something new didn't make the list. Invitations went out, names were locked in, and there's nowhere to be seen. In a world like this, being left out says everything without saying a word. That silence, it's loud. And the people behind it, according to well-placed insiders, are two of the most powerful women in American culture. Anna Wintour, the global editorial director of Vogue and the longtime force behind the Met Gala, is right at the center of it all. And then there's Lauren Sanchez, Bezos' wife of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, the lead sponsor of this year's event, and a woman whose social power has been rising fast. She's not just attending, she's shaping the room in a big way. This is where the story flips. Meghan Markle's long push to break into the highest levels of American fashion didn't just stall, it hit a very public wall. Every move, every calculated step, the awkward moments, the PR slip-ups, the rooms that didn't quite land right, it all stacked up and led straight to this moment. To really get it, you have to understand what the Met Gala actually is. Most people see it as a flashy celebrity fashion show, and sure, on the surface, that's exactly how it looks. Big names, dramatic outfits, red carpet photos everywhere, clips going viral in seconds. But underneath all that shine is something way more controlled and strategic. The Met Gala is basically a cultural gatekeeper. And the person holding the keys? Anna Wintour. She's been running it with sharp precision since 1995, deciding who gets in and who stays out. Getting in isn't just about money. Tickets sit around $75,000 per person, and tables can start at $350,000. In 2025 alone, the event pulled in a massive $31 million in one night. But even with that kind of cash, you can't just buy your way through the door. You have to be chosen. And that choice comes down to relevance, relationships, and reputation, all things that sit firmly in Wintour's control. For 2026, the theme is costume art, with co-chairs like Beyoncé, Nicole Kidman, and Venus Williams helping set the tone for one of the most exclusive nights in the world. The lead sponsors this year, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez. Bezos, two names making a bold, calculated push into high fashion and cultural influence. They're not just showing up, they're planting their flag. And when you line that up with Anna Wintour's control over the entire event, it created a power circle that the Sussex duo simply couldn't break into. And here's where it gets real. Each connection didn't just fade away randomly. The breakdowns were specific, documented, and when you line them all up, they tell a story that's hard to ignore. It points straight to a series of strategic missteps that built up over time. Start with Anna Wintour, because this part didn't happen overnight. This has been building for years. Meghan Markle has clearly aimed for the kind of influence Wintour controls: Vogue covers, Fashion Week presence, front row status, the kind of backing that can turn someone into a full cultural force. But here's the issue: Wintour never fully opened that door. And when Meghan tried to push harder, it didn't land the way it was supposed to. In 2019, while still part of the British royal family, Meghan guest edited British Vogue. That was a huge moment. First time a royal stepped into that kind of editorial role, and it got real attention. At first, it looked like a strong move. The coverage was there, the buzz was real, but then things shifted. After stepping back from royal duties in 2020 and moving to California, the next play started forming behind the scenes. Meghan's team reportedly aimed higher an American Vogue cover. And not just any feature, but the cover. The Wintour cover is one of the most powerful spots in media, the kind that can instantly elevate status. According to reports from Page 6 and multiple insider accounts, talks and negotiations were happening, but this is where the tension really started to build. The talks around a possible 2022 British Vogue cover didn't just slow down, they completely fell apart. And it wasn't about politics or timing, it got personal. Meghan's team reportedly walked in with demands that shocked people inside the fashion world. We're talking next level requests. She wanted full editorial control over the cover, a global rollout where every version of Vogue used the exact same image, and even asked for a direct Zoom call with Anna Wintour herself. Inside Vogue circles, the reaction was instant and cold. The message was simple: nobody gets that. Not icons who spent decades building their name, not global superstars with massive influence. As one source reportedly told Page 6, nobody gets that, not even Beyoncé. Wintour still took the Zoom call, but not because she was excited. Reports later described it as more of a polite move than anything genuine. And by that point, the situation had already gone sideways. The deal collapsed, Linda Evangelista was already locked in for the cover, and word started spreading fast behind the scenes. In fashion's inner circle, the story hit hard. Meghan Markle walked into one of the most exclusive spaces in the industry and tried to change the rules right away. That kind of move doesn't go unnoticed. And then there's Wintour's long-standing ties to the British royal world. She's known to have a strong connection with King Charles and has stayed close to that circle for years. Whether that influenced how things played out is still debated, but the final result? That part is crystal clear. According to royal commentator Paula Froelich, who first broke the Met Gala exclusion story on her Substack, Anna Wintour had already made her decision long before the 2026 invites were even sent out. The door wasn't dramatically slammed shut, it just never opened in the first place. Then came Paris, October 4th, 2025. Meghan Markle stepped into Paris Fashion Week for the debut collection of Pier Paolo Piccioli as creative director of Balenciaga. The look was bold, a custom white sculptural outfit, complete with a cape over a silk blouse and wide-leg trousers. The photos? Clean, striking, and clearly meant to signal a major fashion moment. This was supposed to be big, her first ever Paris Fashion Week appearance, and at one of the most talked about shows of the season. Everything about it was set up to feel iconic, but there was one detail that flipped the whole story. Piccioli told The Cut in an interview that quickly spread through fashion circles that Meghan had actually reached out to him first. According to him, she said she'd be happy to come and support you, and he agreed. That changes the tone completely. Instead of a carefully curated debut, insiders saw something different, a duchess calling in a connection and landing a front row seat. That kind of move hits differently in a space where every invite is supposed to mean something. Meghan later backed this up in a Harper's Bazaar interview, presenting it as a genuine and kind gesture for a friend. But by then, the narrative had already shifted, because in fashion circles, people notice the details, and they know the difference between being invited and inviting yourself. And in a world where exclusivity is everything, that difference, it means a lot. Insiders didn't hold back when describing Meghan's arrival and red carpet moment at the show. Words like tone deaf kept coming up. Another word that kept popping up behind the scenes? Forced. One source even told columnist Rob Shooter that the front row seat wasn't just about status, it was more like a trade. Balenciaga wanted global attention, and Meghan brought it. But not in the way a traditional, celebrated guest would. It came off more like a calculated exchange. And here's the key part. Anna Wintour notices everything. She spent decades carefully deciding who sits where, who gets seen, and who doesn't at the biggest fashion events on the planet. Nothing slips past her. That Balenciaga moment didn't boost Meghan's position, it did the opposite. If anything, it reinforced a growing perception inside the fashion world that she was reaching for a level she hadn't fully secured yet. And the way it was done, that's what rubbed people the wrong way. Then came the moment everyone now calls Photogate November 8th, 2025. Kris Jenner celebrated her 70th birthday with a full James Bond-themed party. The location? The Beverly Hills mansion of Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez? Bezos. The guest list was stacked. Oprah Winfrey, Adele, Mariah Carey, Tyler Perry, Beyonce. It felt like the entire A-list showed up. And yes, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were there too. Earlier that same night, they had attended the Baby 2 Baby Gala in West Hollywood, a charity event honoring Serena Williams. That part was polished, public, and exactly what you'd expect. Photos, press, everything in place. But then they headed over to Kris Jenner's private party at the Bezos mansion, and that's where things shifted. Photos from inside the party started hitting social media, posted by Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian themselves, and that's when the situation took a turn. Harry and Meghan showed up in several of those photos. Harry in a sharp black tuxedo with a small red poppy on his lapel, a symbol of remembrance for fallen British soldiers, and Meghan in a sleek black outfit, smiling alongside members of the Kardashian family. On the surface, it looked like just another high-profile moment, but then just hours later, those photos disappeared. No statement, no warning, no explanation, just gone. And that's when things started to spiral into one of the most chaotic public credibility moments the Sussex camp has faced in a long time. Their spokesperson quickly stepped in, telling reporters that Harry and Meghan had checked no on a social media consent form at the event. The claim was that they had specifically opted out of being photographed or posted publicly, but then came a direct contradiction. A source close to the Kardashian-Jenner circle told People magazine something completely different. There were no consent forms at all. Nothing to sign, nothing to check, nothing like that even existed. And it didn't stop there. Kim Kardashian later addressed the situation on her sister Khloe's podcast, Khloe in Wonderland, and her response hit hard without even raising her voice. She explained that the photos were posted because they had been told it was totally fine to share them. Then she added a detail that shifted everything. According to Kim, it seemed like Harry and Meghan realized after the photos were already up that the party happened right before the UK's Remembrance Day, a serious and respectful national moment honoring fallen military members. "I think they realized it was Remembrance Day," Kim said, "and they didn't want to be seen at a party, even though it's already up and then taken down." That explanation? It only made the situation feel even messier. Then Kim added something that hit even harder. She said, "And then I think they realized oh, this was so silly." That line alone made people stop and look twice. Royal watchers immediately zeroed in on one detail, the poppy. Harry was clearly wearing a red poppy in those photos, the exact symbol used to honor fallen soldiers. That's not something you throw on without knowing what it represents. You don't wear a red poppy during Remembrance Day weekend and then act like the timing slipped your mind. That's why the optics landed so badly. Here you have a former British military officer, someone who served 2 tours in Afghanistan at a celebrity party the night before Remembrance Sunday, and then suddenly the photos vanish. That contrast hit hard, and people noticed. And don't forget where this all happened, the home of Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez Bezos. The same names that, just weeks later, would be revealed as the lead sponsors of the 2026 Met Gala. That connection didn't go unnoticed. What seemed like one awkward moment quickly turned into something bigger. According to The Royalist, a well-sourced publication in royal circles, the decision to push the consent form explanation raised serious concerns internally. It reportedly set off alarms for their own chief publicist, Meredith Maines. She had only been brought on in March 2025, but she came with a strong reputation, sharp, strategic, and focused on results. In less than a year, she had already pulled off something major. She helped arrange a meeting between Prince Harry and King Charles after nearly 2 years of silence. That's not a small win, that's high-level damage control. And yet, this situation? It threatened to undo that progress in a big way. But Photogate didn't just blow over, sources say, it created a serious rupture behind the scenes. Meredith Maines reportedly saw the problem coming from a mile away. By most accounts, she understood that the consent form story wasn't going to hold up, and it didn't. Once that narrative collapsed, the fallout hit fast. Managing a situation like that, especially when the story doesn't stick, can spiral quickly. And insiders believe that pressure played a major role in her exit. By December 26, 2025, she was gone. That made her the 11th publicist to leave the Sussex team in just 5 years. Think about that for a second, 11 inches, 5 years. That kind of turnover is almost unheard of for a high-profile couple in the US. And according to people who've seen it up close, the issue wasn't the media pressure. One former staffer told Pop Crush, "The job isn't hard because of the media, it's hard because of the principals." Another insider shared that Meghan's involvement in press strategy was described as very intense. They said the environment could feel emotionally draining and that even experienced publicists struggled to stay. Because here's the reality, top PR professionals rely on trust and alignment. If there's a gap between strategy and execution, or if the message doesn't match what's actually happening, things start to break down fast. When Maines exited, it wasn't just her. The Sussex team also cut ties with Method Communications, the external PR firm she had brought in. That's 2 major communication pillars gone at the same time. Now, they've shifted back to Sunshine Sachs, Morgan, and Lilas, a crisis communications firm. And here's the twist, it's the same agency that handled their original transition away from royal life back in 2020. The fact that a crisis communications firm is even in the picture, that alone says a lot. And this is where everything starts to connect. By the time the 2026 Met Gala invitations were being decided, Meghan Markle was dealing with a growing list of issues all tied directly to the same people who control access to that event. Anna Wintour, the woman in charge, had seen it all play out. From the reported Vogue negotiation push, to the Paris Fashion Week situation, to how Meghan was moving through elite fashion spaces, it created an impression that didn't sit well. The perception? That she was asking for a level of control and status that even the biggest names in the industry don't demand. And in a world built on hierarchy, that kind of approach stands out fast. Sources close to the gala told royal commentator Paula Froelich that Wintour had run out of patience. According to those reports, the decision was made long before invitations were even finalized. The door wasn't just closed late, it had been closed early. Then you've got Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez Bezos, the lead sponsors of the event. They didn't hear about the controversy from a distance, they saw it unfold in real time, inside their own home. Their Beverly Hills mansion was the exact place where the birthday party happened. They saw the photos go up, saw them get deleted, and watched the consent form explanation fall apart publicly. They also saw Kim Kardashian directly challenge that version of events on her podcast. That kind of public contradiction, it doesn't just fade away. And according to reports, that situation changed how the Bezos circle viewed the Sussex pair in the weeks that followed. Now, look at the 2026 Met Gala guest list. It doesn't just look exclusive, it feels intentional, like every name on it was chosen to send a message. The Met Gala steps will light up on May 4th, 2026, filled with some of the most powerful and talked about names in the world. The photos will be everywhere, shaping conversations for weeks. There will be moments that feel truly stunning, others that feel carefully staged, and every outfit will tell a story about status, access, and influence. And Meghan Markle? She'll be watching it all from somewhere else. That's what makes this story hit. Not because it's cruel, and not because anyone here is a villain, but because this is how power works in this world. It shows up in invitation lists, in seating charts, in who gets seen and who doesn't, and sometimes the loudest message is the name that's missing. What really backfired wasn't just one moment, it was the buildup. The Vogue negotiations, the Balenciaga appearance, the Photogate situation at the Bezos mansion, the consent form explanation that didn't hold up, the 11th publicist exit in 5 years, and the return to crisis. PR. Any one of those situations alone might have been handled, but together, They created a pattern that was hard to ignore. And in the end, two of the most powerful gatekeepers in American culture made their call. Anna Wintour didn't send the invite. Lauren Sanchez Bezos didn't step in to change that. And just like that, one of the biggest nights in fashion moves forward without them. If you've been following the story, drop your thoughts below because this one has people divided. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and share so you don't miss what comes next.